to Nvidia. Now, this is another stock, Julie, that is not doing well. I mean, one of the probably the stocks across the S&P are probably not going to be doing well this morning. The futures picture does not look good aside from oil, as we mentioned. But Nvidia possibly the biggest drag on S&P this morning, down over 2.6%. But moving to Hims and Hers, that is another sector that is benefiting this morning. Hims and Hers is doing quite well, may I add, 50% up, and that is on the back of solving this dispute that it had with Novo Nordisk in Europe. Now, Hims and Hers has had these concerns about its copycat drugs, but it's come to an agreement with Novo Nordisk and is doing quite well this morning on the back of both companies selling their drugs together. And so Hims and Hers up nearly 50% in the pre-market trade this morning. Julie, back to you.
Thanks, Sabir. And coming up in this hour, more on the implications of the new leader in Iran with Julie Norman of Chatham House. And Nuveen's Laura Cooper joins us on the market turmoil. Sources say the G7 ministers are set to discuss a possible joint release of oil reserves as the war with Iran sent prices soaring, but cautioned that no decision has been taken. Let's go to our team coverage with Bloomberg's Joanna Bersecci in Dubai, EMEA News Director Will Kennedy, and markets reporter Skylar Montgomery-Koning. Joanna, let's begin with the reaction to the new supreme leader in Iran and what he represents.
Well, good morning. Well, in many ways, he also represents a continuity candidate. He was the front runner going into the weekend. It was widely anticipated that he would be appointed. He is, of course, the son of Ali Khamenei, the former supreme leader, which is also interesting because there are many sort of purist theocrats in Iran that wanted to avoid a hereditary succession scenario. But here we are, the son of Ali Khamenei, Mujtaba Khamenei, has been appointed the third supreme leader of Iran. He is in many respects just as much of a hardliner as his father was. He has very close ties to the IRGC, the Revolutionary Guard Corps, very close ties as well to the security structure and system that has presided over Iran since 1979. And also there is little doubt that his elevation would also help increase the influence of IRGC over key decision making right now. And that was pretty evident throughout the course of the weekend when you had a statement that was put out by the President Pezeshkian suggesting that he was looking to extend an olive branch perhaps to Gulf allies. That was shortly shot down afterwards by many members of the parliament, including the head of the National Supreme Council, Ali Larijani. And so in many respects, the appointment of Mujtaba Khamenei is seen as an act of defiance out of Iran. It elevates the status of the existing power structure. And President Trump himself has also insinuated that this would be an unacceptable choice. He posted over the weekend that they want nothing short of unconditional surrender out of Iran.
Skylar, thank you. The G7 again going to discuss the joint release of emergency oil reserves as the Strait of Hormuz remains closed. European gas up as well. Will Kennedy, break it all down for us.
Yes, I think that the oil markets and the energy markets more broadly are really adjusting to the fact that this disruption to oil supplies out of the world's most important energy producing region isn't going to end anytime soon and is starting to have knock-on effects through the whole global energy system. So we've seen a real jump in oil prices this morning. We're above $100 a barrel, both for Brent in London and WTI in New York. WTI is up more than $30 since the start of this war. That's an enormous jump to adjust to in a huge short period of time, and we're starting to see that feed through into expectations about interest rates. We're seeing that in the sovereign bond market, and we're also starting to see the knock-on effect on global equity markets. So it seems to be the morning where the market has really woken up to the possible impact of this war, and the longer the Strait of Hormuz remains effectively closed, the worse it is likely to get. Now, you mentioned that IEA release, that G7 meeting that happens later today to discuss emergency stockpiles. That can help, that can cushion the blow, but it cannot do all the work of offsetting this disruption to global oil supplies if it carries on for days and weeks ahead.
Well, I want to talk to you about how you said that can help, but what are the expectations for that, and how much can it help in a situation like this?
Well, it will probably talk about the IEA, which is the body that coordinates the energy policy of the world's developed nations. It was established after the oil shock of early 1970s for precisely this kind of situation, and what it does is it coordinates among its members so that they can release their stockpiles of crude oil and oil products on a coordinated basis, both state stockpiles and, importantly, commercial stockpiles. And so it can have an impact. We also have China, which has big crude stockpiles to draw on for its own enormous energy system. But we're talking about a stockpile here, which is finite, and the longer you go without flow, the less stockpiles can mitigate. So it can cushion things for a short period of time, but it can't solve the whole problem.
Well, Kenny, thank you. And Skylar, after the weekend, the markets